Is Immortals of Aveum worth our time? We're about to find out. Welcome everyone to episode 179 of 1 Hour, 1 Decision, 1H1D. I am Chris.
And I am Tom.
And we take 60 minutes and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass and decide, well, Tom, do we like shooting sparkles out of our hands?
We could be Immortals.
We could be Immortals. Didn't Bob Dylan's anyway. We're going to be talking about Immortals of Aveum, developed by Ascendant Studios. This game came out in August of 2023. I played this on the PC. It was a sizable 57.08 gigabytes on the PC. Tom, what about you?
Considering how beefy this install is,
yeah,
it's actually very close. 56.63 gigabytes. So half a gig discrepancy, but half a gig in 57, 56 gigs. It's hardly anything.
Not much at all. So good on that, Ascendant. But what kind of game is this?
I wrote first-person spell-casting adventure.
Yeah. I put first-person magic shooter.
Ooh, that's better.
Yeah.
I like it because it is a first-person shooter, but you're wielding magic, not guns.
Yeah. Yep. We are, and like, even though, and we'll get into it, there is spells. They're just kind of things you hurl at people anyway. You shoot them out of your hands. What's pew, that game loop? Pew pewing and that did happen in the game too. They talked about pew pewing. But let's go talk about that game loop first.
Okay. Use your magic to shoot enemies and navigate environments to reach the next story beat.
I put shoot other magic-wielding foes in the face or whatever you can actually hit.
Yeah. Hitting them in the face is kind of tricky.
Yeah. It's a smaller target, generally.
Yeah. Shoot for center of mass. That's what I've always been told.
Yeah, that's true. But, you know, in the first-person shooter world, you always want to get the critical strike first.
Yes, the headshot.
The headshot. Get that headshot. You know, that is hard.
And we don't mean photographs.
No. We want to pop some heads with that magic. Now, what's magic about this game? What do we like about this?
That was a excellent segue, Chris. I thought the voice acting was good. I was really enjoying the banter between the characters.
Yeah.
Just the opening cinematic. That they're watching a play, and then like he corrects her grammar. I was like, this Jack is the main character. I liked him right away. I was like, yep, I like this dude.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I thought this game had fantastic presentation. I agree with you. Good way to get us into this world, because this is not a franchise, a new franchise. This is not a storied franchise or whatnot. This is brand new. So they had to like let you get right into it and understand who these characters are. So yeah, great presentation. It's an Unreal Engine 5 game, so brand new, looks great from all the fancy colors and stuff like that happen throughout the game. And like you said, the voice acting is good. I think they had to have done some mocap here. And the characters in here are very recognizable. Like Gina Torres, who plays like the big Immortals leader, general of sorts. She's been on shows like The Shield and the biggest thing that she was in. She was in Serenity, wasn't she? Or Firefly. She was in Firefly.
Yes.
She was in Firefly. She was also in Suits, and she's done a lot of stuff.
You instantly recognized her for sure,
100%. And then the main character, Darren Barnett, I believe is his name.
Yes.
He's been in stuff as well. He's a very recognizable face of recent of time. So I know you said he's voice acted a couple of things as well. So, but anyway, we can get into that a little bit later if that's another thought here. But yeah, I thought this game just looked great. Sounded good as well, like you mentioned. What you got? What else you got here, Tom?
Okay, so I agree that, or at least it sounded like you agree that it establishes the character and the setting well. Especially for a new IP. I thought the characters are likable. I think the plot kind of grabbed me. There's not a whole, right? We only play for an hour, right? So The game sets you up. You watch an opening cinematic. It transitions really well into gameplay. I love when a game does that.
Yeah.
Where it's very fluid between the cinematics and the gameplay. And you do run over here, follow this character. Okay, now it's playing another story beat, and it just like back and forth. It just kind of does this ping pong between gameplay and cinematic.
Yeah,
something like Uncharted. I love does very well.
Yeah.
The tutorial is likewise woven into the gameplay, and I thought that was really cool. Like, it doesn't bog you down in a whole bunch of like, here are all your moves or something. It's very much like, okay, you get to a place now you need to jump. What's the button to jump? Okay, now here's how you shoot magic. Here's how you shoot magic. Like, and so it's piecemealed out to you, but it's done in an organic way that makes sense. It doesn't stop the action too much. And then there's a whole kind of big tutorial section where you're really learning all your magic. And that's done as kind of like a training montage, and it totally works, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. And with that in that tutorial, you get to learn about the different types of magic. And I thought that was kind of cool that they, all of them felt different. They did feel very familiar, because you've got your
weapons,
like weapons, like you've got the regular kind of like rifle.
Mm-hmm.
You got a shotgun, and you got like some sort of multi-shot targeting thing, almost like the needler in a way for Halo or something like that. So
yes,
but they felt good. They felt good shooting them. They also allowed you to kind of play with the enemy types, because there's a variety of enemy types that you,
for sure,
at least in the first hour, at least I saw 3 or 4 maybe, and they all, the way that you play in the workplace, like in the space, how you interact with them, and like, what you figure out, like what is the best way to take them out. And that was cool. It was cool. I appreciated that. And on top of all that, then you had these like relics, I believe is what they called them. So you have like a secondary option or weapon. In this case, it was a grapple, or not a grapple, but like kind of like a whip that brings things closer to you, so you can shotgun them.
Scorpion-esque, get over here.
Yeah, exactly. So that was cool. I'm glad that they did that. And then you had a double jump. Double jumps are great mechanic. I always love that, having a second time to jump things. And they did it in world, because it's like you're using your magic to boost you up again. Yeah. So that was great.
Yeah, I think because the world is full of magic, it allows for some Unreal Tournament-esque BS in a shooter but the lore of the universe supports it. So it's like, this is great. Yeah, double jump. Yeah, because you can jump off of the air into more air. It doesn't make any sense at all unless you're using, magic, right? Like, okay, yeah, you could totally do that with magic. Or I suppose technology of some kind, right? Boots that give you a second jump or something.
Yeah. Rocket boots.
Right. Rocket boots would work. Yeah.
Yeah. What else did you like about this?
The only other thing I have in my things that I enjoyed was, I thought the humor was good. I enjoyed it. There's a sequence as part of the tutorial, a little bit of a spoiler here. The character's like, how long do I need to be serving for? And then it just cuts to black, and it says 5 years later. And it was a very much like a Always Sunny kind of moment. And I was like, oh, this is perfect.
Right.
Like it made me laugh,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. There was moments like that throughout the playthrough that would just kind of like gave you some chuckles, and they made it kind of like, they didn't go overly serious.
Right.
And I appreciated that. You need to have some levity, some because you're playing a game. You don't need to be super serious like The Last of Us or something like that.
Right, for sure.
Some stuff does happen in this game.
You want to segue? I've got a dislike if you're ready for it.
Okay, let's do it.
Yo, so what's up with that sucker punch there about like 20, 30 minutes into the game?
That's a great question.
The game hasn't even really. So you start and you're in a city, and I mean, I guess light spoilers here. If you're watching this, I mean,
yeah,
okay, but the truth of the matter is, right? Like the game starts and it's kind of like you're in this city, you're in the slums, you're a kid with these other kids, you kind of making ends meet by thievery and that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then the enemy attacks and you're like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, all right, it's the inciting event. And I was ready for that because obviously you're not just going to be thieving around town for the whole game.
Yeah.
I was not ready to lose everybody I cared about in the first 20 something minutes.
Yeah, I agree. I that was crazy, but what bothered me, while the game overall has good voice acting, good performances, I thought that was just really weird how he portrayed all that happening. Especially since like his best buddy, I forgot her name now. Like she just sacrifices herself, get him out of there, and he's just like, no. I was like, wait, what? That's it? That's all you got? Not even a scream, a cry, or anything like that? Yeah. After that, he kind of goes like Super Saiyan or whatever, and like takes everyone out. But it was still kind of like it felt kind of hollow. Like it just didn't make sense to what just happened. Like you saw all his friends just blow up in this building gets blown up. And then he sees the person that's been your kind of guide in this world just, take one for you as well. And you're just like, no. It's like, what? No, that's not how it works. That's not how things work. It was just very confusing. And just to kind of, I thought also it was interesting that this world or like this community was built underneath a bridge. This giant bridge. I was like, what is going on? Like, who decided, you know what, I'm going to build a house here and you guys can come along if you want and build the whole community down here. Okay, there's magic in the world, and that's probably how they're just going to be like, oh, it was all done by magic. I was like, I don't know. I don't get it. So that was a little odd to me. I don't know what you thought about that. I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting idea, but it was still like, why do they want to just be like, I want to live in the most dangerous way possible on top of this, as they keep talking about it, this cavern or this hole that they don't even know where it goes to. I'm like, okay, this is a little odd. Choices.
It is an undesirable location. They make that clear. True. That these are kind of like the slums. These are where the forgotten and the the feeble,
like the favelas
live.
Or whatnot. Yeah.
So that's part of it, and then it seems like there is kind of work there, in terms of cleaning up the rot that's spreading, and that the government kind of pays them to do that. So
I see. Okay. Yeah.
I think that's kind of where it's going with that. But I'm with you. It is kind of a weird setting, and I think it's probably was primarily done to look cool.
Yeah.
Here's a shows you like you have to platform here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to interact with objects to go up and down. You have to, you know what I mean? Like it was a good setting for that initial environment, and then you're not there anymore. So
right. True.
I did have some problems though with that setting in a different way. Like the characters kind of looked muddy to me, like the resolution, like especially like if you were at any kind of distance to them. When you were like up close and in somebody's face, stuff looked pretty good. But like at any kind of, it's like the LOD or whatever. Like it was not good. Things looked muddy very quickly. It was not like a fog of war, like way over there. It was like, no, this guy's like 5 feet away from me. He looks kind of cruddy.
Yeah. And to piggyback off of that, I felt like while animations looked pretty good overall, it was just something off about when they made transitions, when they were turning, when characters were turning, it just felt very robotic. So like when you were following a character, like the path that they would take was very direct. Like it didn't seem very like natural when they were making their turns. Yeah, exactly. So it's like something about it just totally looked off to me. I thought sometimes the facial animations looked a little off-putting, especially like with your first kind of character that you were talking, your friend that dies. I thought that was a little odd, but I had the same kind of feeling. Like things did look muddy and the animations looked a little janky there, but maybe they thought, hey, this is the beginning or whatever it is. But
but you'd think you really want to put your
Best foot forward,
your quality assurance people to really look at that opening stuff. Speaking of things that kind of threw me a little bit, I thought the movement in first person in that opening sequence, like in that opening area, felt kind of jarring. I don't know if it was maybe the environment itself. It just, I guess when it was kind of claustrophobic, I felt the motion kind of like too much. It felt kind of, maybe I could have adjusted that in the settings or whatever. But then when I finally got to like doing the combat, everything and the world kind of opens up some and gets a little bit brighter. It doesn't happen anymore. At least I didn't feel it anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I think I see what you mean by that, but I don't think I felt that. And I'm glad that there wasn't too much melee in this game because, or none at all, from what I recall, because I probably would have been throwing up on the on my monitor or something, because it was I don't know why. First person melee is always a problem for me, especially when there's like a lot of camera movement with like, the swings and stuff like that. That just, well, no thanks. While overall I thought like you said, the delivery of voice acting, the actors were good, performances were good. I thought some of the lines that they say just made my eyes roll a bit. I was like, oh man,
sure,
they shouldn't have said that, but. Again, maybe it was just more to the fact that they wanted this game to not take itself too seriously. But it was like, oof, some of that stuff was hurtful to my ears. So that's one thing I definitely.
There are definitely some really corny lines for sure.
Yeah.
I had problem with the dialogue from a different angle though, Chris. In that, so you're following your friend. And you're doing this a number of different times. You're doing it early in the game, and then you're doing it again, like when the inciting event happens and you have to kind of race back to home, right? In both instances, I would get dialogue that didn't make sense because I was next to or in front of the person I'm supposed to be following, where she's very like, panicked.
Come on,
like,
come on, let's go.
Come on, let's go. Or hurry up. We got to get there quickly. And I'm like, I'm in front of you. Like,
oh man, that is
so
awkward.
like either don't let me get in front of her, or maybe the dialogue needs to adjust based on where the two people are.
Right. And so like, I that's why I appreciated like Hellblade did a pretty good job of keeping that person in front of you.
Yes,
a lot of times. So like that gap if someone was like in front of let's go, you had to like catch up to them, but you weren't like they had that fake barrier between you and them, so that you'd always look like you were trying to catch up. The other thing, I know you kind of mentioned that they're kids, but how old is he supposed to be? Was he like 15 or 16? That's a pretty hard 15 or 16 years old for these kids. Like, and then you had the other ones that were like, okay, they seemed to be accurate in their age, but like the other ones just did not. They looked pretty dang old.
That's fair. It's like the Dawson's Creek age, where they're in high school, but you've definitely cast.
It's like 40-year-old people just playing these high school kids. So what's going on here? Very odd, I thought, but so be it.
No, I got to give you that. That's 100% true.
What else you got here? I thought Tom, this is a first person shooter of sorts. And I got to say, I was even more annoyed because yes, you can't see your feet in this game, but you have a shadow. And your shadow shows your feet. In fact, it shows your whole body in your shadow. I'm like, what's going on? Why did they do that? Why even give me a shadow if you're not going to show me my feet when I look down? I was messed up. I was disappointed in that, Tom.
That is a weird choice.
Right.
That implies that the model is there.
Right.
It must be, right, in order to cast the shadow to be there for the lighting effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they've purposely disabled your ability to see it. Mm-hmm. What a strange choice.
Very strange. Very strange. And since I play this on PC, I don't know if you had this problem, but when you first started the game, the initial load time took a bit of time. It was very long, I thought.
I did not experience that, but there is the problem that I did experience where, and I put it here like this. I miss the old days when you just start playing a game. Like When we were children, Chris, you just put in a video game. Maybe you blew on a cartridge or something. You shoved it into the system, and you were playing the game in like 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
That like, unless you're playing an indie game today, that doesn't happen.
No.
Like, you have to accept 14 different EULAs. You have to go through six different screens of setting things up. And I don't know.
Yeah.
To be fair, once all that was done, it didn't bother me anymore. But I'm just irritated by that. It's not a multiplayer game. Like, what am I agreeing to?
No. They wanted to watch what you're doing, Tom. That's what they want you to do. But you got any other dislikes here? I have one more.
Okay.
It kind of, I think it bleeds into your other thoughts. That's why I kind of wanted to say here.
Let's do it.
The message at the beginning of the game, I thought the letter from the studio where they were like super excited, you guys are trying this out and all this other stuff. I was like, oh, it just hit me. It just hit me deep with that. It was unfortunate because I guess I'll let you lead right into your other thoughts. Because
okay, sure. So, unfortunately, this game didn't sell well. It sold really poorly, in fact, which led to major layoffs of the team. So, ouch.
Yeah, I think about half of the team was let go.
Yeah, immediately, or more or less immediately, and then the lion's share of the rest of the team was let go as well. Like, they're down to like a skeleton crew. I don't know if they'll recover.
Yeah. And I mean, you said Ascendant Studios, they're a bunch of like heavy hitters, right? From what you've heard.
Yeah. So this was their debut title. They're comprised of a bunch of former Dead Space and Call of Duty game developers. So bunch of people left some really impressive teams to make something new and beautiful and special, and got their teeth kicked in.
I mean, I think this game is very ambitious, right? It's trying to do a lot, and it's hard. It's hard to make games like this kind of ambition without having a big backing and big trust from a big publisher. And yes, EA is their publisher, but it still didn't feel like, I don't know what it was about this game that people were just like meh about. I mean, at least the first hour was fine. I don't know. Yeah. How Long to Beat says this game takes about 15 to 20 hours. So it's not, doesn't go too crazy in terms of overstaying its welcome, I think. But so that's surprising, because this game, like I said, it's using Unreal Engine 5. It is got a lot, like I'm sure they spent a pretty penny to get these actors to come in and do their thing. So it's just really sad to see that. It's really sad to see that.
Continue on with a couple of other little notes and talking about it being ambitious. There are 25 spells, okay? Plus the talent tree that's set up in the game has over 80 nodes.
Wow!
So you can really kind of customize how you're going to play this shooter.
Yeah,
let's call it spade a spade.
Just shooter. Yeah.
So it was. I agree. It was an ambitious attempt. And I also, you touched on it earlier. Darren Barnett keeps popping up, especially for me. Mm-hmm. So recently, the Godzilla -1 dub, he plays the title character, the main character in that, in the English dub.
Right.
He was in Jurassic World Chaos Theory, which is an animated Jurassic World show. He plays Kenji there. And he also played in another animated show, also legendary, or not legendary, but another Godzilla, kaiju property, Skull Island, based on Kong. He plays one of the main characters there. So like immediately I recognized this guy's voice, and I was like, why do I know who this is? And I went and looked it up, and there's tons of content I've seen. And that's not even, what he's most famous for.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And that's just as a nerd where I've heard him.
Yeah. I mean, and that's good for him. Good for him to keeping the paychecks coming. And
it's good to know that after this game failed, he's not out of work.
Right. I don't think he phoned it in either. So I thought he did a good job overall. Yeah. So, but Tom, now we need to come to our decision, don't we? Are we keeping this game, Immortals of Aveum, on our respective hard drives, or are we casting it into that abyss below the favelas of, well, I don't know, whatever.
Why don't you start, Chris?
Well, Tom, I was sad to see that the studio really took a beating from this. I'm not saying that because of all that news, it made me feel like kind of like compelled to keep playing it because of that. But I think overall this game shows promise. I think that I am curious to see where the story goes. The combat felt pretty good overall, and it might be just kind of a by the book story, but you know, I like a little bit of those popcorn style movies every once in a while. So yeah, I think I'll keep trying it out, seeing what's more to know about the Immortals. What you got, Tom?
So I've got to say, a lot of my dislikes showed up early. I thought the game started kind of rocky. Mm-hmm. But as the plot got going and the combat training situation kicks in after that inciting event, like I got really invested. I was like, man, you know, I guess there's, you know, just like the beginning of Last of Us, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you need a kick in the teeth right at the beginning of the game for you to get like really invested really quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm invested in this character, Jack, and his story. And I've only played an hour, so you know, good job, guys.
Yeah.
I want to keep playing, and I want to see where it goes. And knowing that it's only 12, 15 hours, that sounds great to me. Yeah. I don't want to be on the hook for 150 hours. But
no.
If it's a little bit longer than a trilogy or quadrilogy of films, that sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. So those are our thoughts. Let us know what you think of this game. Follow us and say hello on Twitter or Threads at TC1H1D. Shoot us an email at tc1h1d@outlook.com. Check out our next streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/1h1d. And hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, send us a comment below about why you think this game is great or not. There you go. We'll try to respond, and check out all our other episodes where we did a bunch of other reviews before this, including Hellblade 2 and Harold Halibut, you know, stuff like that. Why not? Check those all out. And Quit the Bill 1H1D is part of the Quit the Bill network. If you like any kind of great gaming content, check it all out at quitthebill.com/network. So Tom.
And now we just leave, right? That's it.
Now we just leave. No. We need to find out what we're playing next. So surprise button. Tell us what we're playing. Here we go. Ooh, Orcs Must Die 3.
Of course.
It's not the sequel, but the sequel to the sequel that we will be playing next time. So, you know, that's what we got. That's what we got going in store for us. Thank you so much, though, everyone, for tuning in to this episode, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.